everybody, welcome back to Messy Vegan Baker. I'm Christina. This week, we are going to be doing something exciting. I mean, in my opinion, we always do exciting stuff, but you know. Sometimes they have snacks at work. They brought in this one snack, and it had like a special fall flavor. I don't know why I used air quotes for that, but so they had a special flavor for fall, and I was like, oh, that sounds so good, but I couldn't have it because it's not vegan. So I figured I would just make my own. And I have made a similar version of this before. It's a different recipe. It's from Lauren Toyota, which I love her stuff. So I'll be sure to link that video somewhere, somehow. I don't know. This is a different version. It's a little more time consuming, like a lot more, but it's fine. So this week we are going to be making pumpkin pie Pop-Tarts. Now, originally I was going to make Pop-Tarts, but like mummy Pop-Tarts, and they're really cute because it's fall and Halloween. I want to do pumpkin because I'm a little more excited about that, and I'm just not sure how that would work. This is a recipe from, you guessed it, Mark Bittman's How to Bake Everything. And I'm going to be making the shortcut puff pastry, mostly because I just don't feel like taking a million years and hours to make a real one. At some point I will, because I think that would just be super fun and amazing. But today is not that day. Without further ado, let's get baking. I'm using the vegan Earth Balance. Is there Earth Balance? It's not vegan, no. So I'm using Earth Balance because they have sticks of butter, and honestly, that's just a lot easier when baking a lot of times. I also like them because they definitely do what butter's supposed to do, and so I just don't have to worry about like potential conversions, and I don't know, it's just easier. So we're using Earth Balance sticks. I cubed them up. He said to reserve half of a stick of butter. That is in the fridge right now to keep it cool, and then put the rest, cube it, and then put it in the freezer, which is what I did. So they are in there cooling and chilling and freezing, so hopefully we get a delicious pastry. So while that happened, I put the flour in there and the salt. You can do this by hand if you want. I personally am very lazy. And I'm doing this by a food processor. So enough babbling. I think I'm just going to explain it after I get this done and freeze it, because that's what we're going to do like 1,200 times. So I'll see you soon. To make the dough, you have your ingredients in the bowl or food processor, and then you take the butter that was in the fridge, or the half stick of butter, and you put that in the food processor and make it go around until it looks like there's little pea sizes of like butter, and just little pea sizes, and then take the rest of the butter, which should hopefully be pretty well frozen by now, or as cold as possible, and you stick that in. And you process it until it should look like cornmeal, he says, like little pea sizes, because the butter should be all broken up and coated with the flour. And then you're going to add a 1/4 cup of ice cold water, and then you're going to process that or work it in a little bit. And then you're just going to kind of see how much more water you need until the dough, like all the flour is moist, or like, yeah, not quite wet, but like it's covered, it's water's getting places, till all the dough feels like it's gotten a little bit of water. And then you can dump it out onto a parchment paper, and this is, okay, I didn't do this, but it would have been so much smarter and easier. Form it into a log shape first, preferably like 20 inches long, and then you can roll it 10 inches wide. I didn't do that, so my life was 1.5 million times harder, but it's fine. You're going to, he calls it a book fold, essentially. So your dough is 20 inches long by 10 inches wide, approximately. So you're going to imagine that it's cut into 4 pieces, and you're going to take one of the ends of the piece and fold it to the middle, and then the other end and fold it to the middle. So it kind of looks like it's a book by the end of it. And then you can watch what I'm doing if this doesn't make sense. So there you go. And then you fold it in the middle. So you're like essentially shutting the book. And then you wrap it up in plastic wrap. And at this point, it should be 10 inches. A 10-inch long rectangle, and then you're going to stick it in the fridge for 30 minutes, and then you're going to roll it out to the same size, repeat that, stick it in the fridge for another minute, for another 30 minutes, and then ideally do it one more time, stick it in the fridge for 30 minutes. Or I just stuck it in the fridge for an hour because I assumed after I had folded it for that long, it was good to go. While it was chilling in the fridge, I made the pumpkin filling. So I did a cup of pumpkin puree, and then I don't remember how much of everything I added. I think I did like 2 teaspoons of vanilla, a teeny bit of cardamom, which you don't have to do if you don't want, a little bit of cloves, and like a teaspoon of nutmeg, and a little bit of ginger, like a half teaspoon. And then I added a 1/3 cup of brown sugar and a 1/3 cup of granulated sugar to sweeten it up. And I stuck it on the fridge just so that the sugar would melt and it would be like more uniform and less chunky, I guess, essentially. So I put it on medium-low heat, medium low, I don't know. And then I just cooked it for like 10 minutes until it was smooth and kind of glossy. You'll notice the difference, trust me. And it tasted good, so took it off, let it cool. So this recipe makes about 2.5 pounds of pastry, and for my recipe, I only needed 1 pound, even though I feel like that wasn't quite true. I don't know. I basically did measured them out into about 1 pound each, and then the 1/2 pound, and I froze the extra 1.5 pounds of pastry, and that is good for up to 2 months, so that's exciting. At some point I can just take it out and make a pastry and it won't take forever. Yay. And then, yeah, so I took the other part and I attempted to roll it out to 24 by 12 inches, but I don't know what I was doing wrong. I just could not get it to be that big without it getting super, super thin. So maybe it was just like uneven in certain places and I just needed to work it more. I don't know. And then I essentially just measured it out 4 inches by 3 inches and cut them out. So I had uniform shapes, or as close to uniform as I can get with my inability to cut straight lines. And then I cut out all of my pastries. And then once I did that, I put a little bit of filling on the inside of one of them, and then I brushed it with some almond milk. You can just do water too if you want. And then I put the top on it. I pressed it down with a fork. I poked some holes in it so the steam had somewhere to go. Then I transferred it to my baking sheet. And I did that until I got 7. The recipe calls for 12. I'm not sure what I did wrong. I probably, looking at these, definitely could have made some of them thinner. Those were baking at 400 degrees Fahrenheit. I baked them, I did 8 minutes, I flipped it, cooked for another 7 minutes, and then I did another like 2 minutes just to get the golden brown on top. So some of them are still a little, not quite golden on the top, but the edges are golden, so it counts. And then while those were baking, I put a 1/4 cup of almond milk, a dash of some vanilla, some cinnamon, I think like a teaspoon, and then ended up doing like 2 cups of powdered sugar just so I could get a thicker consistency, and mixed that together, and here we are. So these are still cooling, but it's getting really dark out, so the lighting is going to get really wonky. And that just bothers me because I don't have those cool ring light things. I'm letting them cool, but I will say, look how gorgeous those are on the edges. I'm just kind of waiting for them to cool before I can glaze them or frost them, but I will make sure to add that in to this video once I do it. But I definitely recommend this. I did the shortcut puff pastry, and dear Lord, I'm very nervous to do the full one because that's just a lot of effort, and then this already took forever. I mean, it was fun. It's definitely something like if you have nothing better to do and you're just chilling at home and it's like the perfect baking day, then I definitely would recommend it, especially because I feel like these are going to be 1.5 million times better than Pop-Tarts. Not to throw shade on them, but I will be putting this recipe on my blog, so don't forget to check that out. I have a lot of other fun recipes, including the candy corn one, if you missed that. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. You guys are amazing. I love you so much. If you're new here, hello, welcome. If you liked what you saw, I come out with videos every Friday. You could hit that like button and subscribe button if you want. And if you were old to this channel, hello, welcome back. Thank you so much for watching every time and commenting. It really makes my day. I hope you guys learned something and or were entertained, and I will see all of you lovely humans next week. Bye. Why am I like not able to do this? Dear Lord. I'm bleeding.